Hi everyone. Let's start the event. So, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning to everyone joining us from different parts of the world. Welcome to International Women's Day celebration by TensorFlow Group Kolkata. I am Akanksha Basin, your host for the day. And please let us know in the comments from which part of the world you are joining in the chat section. And let us all wish each other a happy Women's Day. So we have Anubhav joining us. Hi Anubhav. Hi Rahul. So Anubhav is joining us from Bangalore. That's awesome. So we have Isha joining in from Delhi. Happy Women's Day, Isha. Hi Rahul. Hi Debayan. So now we have Rishi Raj as well. He is GD in machine learning and is also a TensorFlow Group Kolkata organizer.
Hello all. Akansha will be our host for this event. I hope best wishes to all attending. Let's begin. Thank you.
Okay, let me share my screen first. And thanks to all the wonderful women, men, and allies who have joined us for today's celebration. And today's theme for International Women's Day is Impact the Future. So you can tag us along on socials with hashtag Impact the Future, hashtag International Women's Day, and do tag TensorFlow Group Kolkata as well. So, a bit about my thoughts about why we celebrate and why we should celebrate International Women's Day. I believe we all have the power and responsibility to impact the future of technology and even society. And with AI as a major part of it shaping our world, we have a lot of buzz around AI these days, a lot of innovations around it. But what will that future look like and how will we build it? So we can use our technical skills, creativity, and passion to create positive change and solve the problems that matter to us and to our communities. We can also inspire the next generation of women in tech who will continue to impact the future and with their own ideas and innovations. So let's unite together in a collective endeavor to dream big, to be bold, and most importantly, to impact the future. Together, we can impact on a journey of empowerment, innovation, and lasting change that transcends the boundary of today and paves the way for a future we collectively envision. So let's start today's event with incredible line of speakers who will be sharing their inspiring stories, experiences, and insights which will make you go spellbound. So this event is not just a celebration but a platform to empower and connect with brilliant women in tech out there. So, first, I would like to invite Iman Masmodi on the stage. Hi, Iman.
Hi, hello. Thank you for the invitation. And happy International Women's Day for everybody.
Yeah, happy International Women's Day. So, talking about Iman, she's the co founder of MLACT community, which got a wide recognition from Google itself. She's also a WTM ambassador from Tunisia and have also mentored a lot of folks in different communities. So, I welcome her.
Thank you. Happy to be among you today.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I prepared a small presentation to guide my talk, but feel free to drop any questions if you had any in the comment section. Yeah, today I'm gonna be talking about something that speaks to me a lot in my experience. It's a saying that I heard once, and it starts with life is not about finding yourself. So, as Akanksha said, I'm from Tunisia. So, in case you don't know Tunisia, it's a very beautiful city in North Africa. That's Tunisia. It's in North Africa. And we're famous for so many things. This is our flag. It's very close to Turkish flag, but Turkey flag, but it's a bit different. It's got this basically the same elements, but we have the circle. We are famous for the beaches and for the beautiful sights that we have. We also have Sahara, so we have the Sahara. Uh, you can find deserts, and you can also find very beautiful weather, like where you have the beach, and it's not so hot. But yeah, we also have mountains, but yeah, we're kind of awkward. We have so many things in Tunisia. So yeah, among you today, I'm Iman Masmoudi. I'm from Tunisia. I'm a Women Tech Makers ambassador, and I'm also a GDG organizer and MLACT machine learning community co-founder and co-lead alongside with Saifuddin Ashur. Very happy to be among you today, and I'll be telling you a story. So yeah, our story for today basically falls into life is not about finding yourself, but we'll come to the conclusion by the end of this of what life is about, because I always wonder about what life is about and why am I here and what's my mission in life. These are the most important questions that I've always been asking myself, but I think I'm getting closer to finding good answers in my life. And yeah, I'll be telling you that story today. Yeah, basically, we're gonna talk about 5 points in my life, in my journey in life. The start of it all, get into university, because that's a major highlight in my life. The part where I felt like I was on top of the world, and the part when I felt like I was so lost, and how karma hits in the best, beautiful ways, most beautiful ways. And let's get started. Since we already said life is not about finding yourself, so what is it about? For me, when I was a kid, a very, very young kid, I always believed that I would be popular. And I would even say that in the theater plays with my sister, because we used to do theater a lot, and she would film me. And I would say, I'm so popular, I am the most popular, and all of those things, all of those sort of things. And I would play it in my head that I'm so popular. And later on in life, I did become popular. It's so crazy. But it appears that having that vision ever since I was a kid did actually helped me throughout my journey to guide my life in the way that it is right now. So, setting up a vision, I believe, is one of the most important things to have. Setting up a vision. But later on, I started daydreaming about my dreams in general. One of those dreams was my dream job. I believed in having a dream job ever since I was a kid, and my dream job was to become a teacher. A funny story, both of my parents are math teachers. And I wanted to grow up to be exactly like them. We had it in our blood, and I believed that I was good in math, although probably I wasn't. But little by little, if you believe in it, fake it till you make it, and you actually do make it. So you need to start believing in yourself first so that you can actually make it later on in life. And I believed I was very good. Although I had no reasons to believe in that, but I did believe until I started having reasons to believe that I was good, and I became good. So, yeah, setting up a vision, having a dream job, and why would I ever want to become a teacher? Because I saw the way that my parents were helping people, and I saw how students come to them and ask for information. And some of my friends early on in life, they asked me for a few things that I understood. And while explaining things to others, I felt like that's something I really enjoy doing. it speaks to me a lot. So yeah, I really loved helping people, and I loved enlightening their minds with knowledge and giving them the spark. It somehow felt like I accomplished my mission in life. And yeah, I understood that little by little, apparently, because every time I interact with other people or explain things to them, I would believe more that that's what I want to do. And it grew on me. It did grow on me. And yeah, later on in life, I grew up to become not a teacher. I grew up to become an engineer. Well, don't get me wrong, I still love helping people and I love sharing knowledge with others. That's why I'm Women Tech Makers Ambassador and I love giving workshops to others. It just speaks to me a lot. I'm not a teacher by profession, but I do execute my dream job every day. And I do it voluntarily. And I love doing it like this. And I love it to stay like this. But at some point in life, I started to do it professionally. I'll explain more little by little. But yeah, let's get to the next point. I believe that's the start of it all. The start of it all for me was setting up the vision and having a dream. That's the start. Later on, I grew up and went to the university. I had some tough choices because I had some options laid out for me, but I had to choose. And apparently, I don't like choosing one thing over the others because I'm a person who loves it all. So I had to choose, and I chose something that's closer to math and physics because I was a very bright student at math and physics. And I went to preparatory school. So for the school system in Tunisia, we follow the European school system. It's kind of awkward. So to do engineering or to become an engineer, we study 5 years. 2 years are in preparatory school. We study lots of math and physics and chemistry, and we just get the best foundation to understand basically everything in the universe. And then we have a concours. We go through a very tough concours and we get a ranking. Based on the ranking, we get to go to an engineering school to study for 3 years. And yeah, it's very tough to become an engineer for us, and we are very recognized. Like we are engineers and doctors. These are the two big things that we have in Tunisia. And in the Middle East, we say bash muhandis. It's not just muhandis. It's engineer, but it's the engineer. That's what we call engineering in here. And yeah, it is a very respectable job. But yeah, when I went to university, the engineering school at least, because in preparatory school we don't have time for life. We can make some time for life if we really are serious about life, but it's a lot of studying. It doesn't give you much room for doing extra things. But I used to do kung fu because I love sports. And yeah, these are a few things I used to do, like kung fu mostly, 3 times a week. And I had red belt in preparatory school in the first year. But after finishing the preparatory school, I went to the engineering school and I studied for 3 years. When I first entered the university, I realized that there are so many clubs in the university, which is something we didn't have in preparatory school and neither in high school for me. In my high school, we didn't have clubs. So I joined as many clubs as I could. I joined about 8 clubs, which was crazy. It was Corona year, and most of them worked online. They had online workshops, everything was online. And I could somehow manage my time and be active in 8 clubs and still be a good student. And yeah, after the first year, I felt like I belonged to so many clubs, but I couldn't choose one club to lead for the next year. It felt like parts of me belonged in different clubs. So, me as a whole person, I didn't belong anywhere as a whole person. I'll give you an example. Like, we have arts club. and I'm a very artistic person. I do drawings, and yeah, I paint, and I write. I believe in writing to express my thoughts, and I have a good style of writing. So yeah, I believe in arts, and I'm a very artistic person. But I'm also someone who is very oriented to IT, for example. So I couldn't just choose arts over IT because there's another club for IT, right? And I can't really lead two clubs. So somehow I had to make a choice, or I could just start a club. So I decided to start a club where I could just belong in a place that's new that I make in my university, and I founded a Google Developer Student Club. So I applied and I got pre selected. It was the happiest day of my life when I saw the pre selection email, and then got to the interview the following day. I couldn't wait, so I had to book the earliest interview for the Google Developer Student Clubs, and I made it. I founded a Google Developer Student Club at my university, and that was one of the happiest years of my life. I poured my heart and soul in my club. I treated it like my home. My members were like my babies, and my core team was like my family. And yeah, I believe in leading with love. And one of the things I used to do a lot of research about, and still do, is organizational leadership, because that was my first end of studies internship, first end of years project. So by the end of the first year, I read two books and wrote a very big 70-page article about organizational leadership. And yeah, I did some research and applied so many things. So in the second year, when I led my club, I was recognized as a very good leader because I did my research. And I believe in leading with love. So someone has to love that something to do it. And I want all of my team to be comfortable and then be supported and feel like they're empowered, all of those things. I really believe in those things. So I had to invest in my team a lot. And it pays off. So yeah, at some point I started getting being a GDSC lead. I started getting trainings from the program managers. They would train us so we can train our members, like for example, design thinking. And yeah, they train us. They give us train the trainer training so we can train other people. And they also gave us trainings about TensorFlow. Now I am someone who eats knowledge. I'm very hungry for things. So I went through all of the TensorFlow resources, and I went to the 4 courses in Coursera in 1 month. I finished them all. Yeah, I'm very hungry for knowledge. So I believe in feeding on things when they're good. So they were very good quality stuff that they were giving us, and I took everything. Later on, I started giving some trainings to my members. It started out with my members until I started networking with other people. And my HDSC actually was one of the biggest clubs in the MENA region. I had over 800 members. Although my university is not that big, I had so many members from so many universities in all of Tunisia. And some of them were even outside of Tunisia. Apparently, we brought some good value. We organized 5 in-person events over the year and 84 workshops all along the year. Uh, we never stop. It's basically every week you have something. If you have exams, it's okay. We'll do stress management or time management or something that's going to help you out, or a community. And it was more than a club to me, honestly. So I had so many members, and sometimes when I host a workshop and I have people coming in, they would give me great feedback. They would say things like, I understood so many things in your workshop. Thank you so much. I didn't understand that in class, but now I get it. Da, da, da. I used to get so many good, so much great feedback from my members. And yeah, later on, my members would go to their universities, and I would start getting invitations from other universities and from other clubs. People would recommend me to other people, and it started going crazy. Now, this is the part I say I was on top of the world. literally on top of the world. Everybody was recommending me and being a people pleaser, and I was really enjoying helping people and giving workshops. That's my dream job. So I was basically not able to say no to anybody. I had to somehow squeeze them into my schedule, although I had a very busy schedule. But I couldn't just not help them. They need knowledge. I'm there for them. Sharing is caring. Giving back to the community were my top um, my top things that I believe in. So yeah, I started getting overwhelmed, and at some point I realized that I became constantly overwhelmed, that I forgot to enjoy the journey. That was a moment for me. That was where I stood, and I realized that I forgot to find pleasure in the things I do, although I am doing something I really love. And that's when I started getting lost a little by little because I wasn't really acknowledging these things. I discovered those things later on, but I was already being so overwhelmed that I started forgetting to eat or forgetting to. I sleep at 4 a.m. and I lost track of the things that I want to do. Like for example, I'm someone who loves sports and painting and writing. I couldn't make time for those things, and I started squeezing other people in my schedule that I forgot to squeeze myself into my schedule or the things I want to do. And that's very dangerous. I'm telling you, it's very dangerous. I ended up going to the hospital, to the emergencies. Yeah, it was very bad. I wasn't really paying attention to my health. I wasn't eating for even for 3 days. I forget to eat. I lost track of feelings, in fact, of physical needs, or I wouldn't get hungry anymore. And I started getting used to that. And that's not healthy at all. But yeah, I started getting lost, and at some point, I couldn't recognize the person I became. So I started asking, who am I? Am I my achievements? Am I the things I do? What am I? That was very hard question to ask, especially when we don't have time and you're already overwhelmed. And asking these questions along the way and trying not to show those things to other people, because people would come to me and say things like they were very inspired and they believe I'm their idol. What if your idol says, I don't know who I am? No, I couldn't do that publicly. So I was suffocating inside, but I was still trying to look my best to still help people out. And it was a hard moment for me. It didn't last long, thanks God, because karma hits. I believe in karma. If you do good, good returns. So much good returns. I needed help, but I couldn't ask for help back then. And now I can ask for help because I believe that we should be living healthy lifestyle and loving ourselves. And yeah, I found people like mentors. People would show up in my life just like that, like angels. And they would help me say things that I needed to hear. I don't know how that happens, but it just happened. I also started getting rewards. Like, yeah, this is a post I posted once, and on LinkedIn, you can find it. That was my first anniversary being a Women Tech Makers ambassador. I posted some numbers on how many people I helped, and there were so many people. Like I spent over 3 days training people in 1 year, in total, and I helped so many people learn things. I also helped trained people from so many parts of the world, not just Tunisia. I trained people from Madagascar, for example. This picture is from Madagascar. I trained them for 12 hours in total. So I was really making an impact not just on Tunisia, but it's on a broader level. These are a few of my mentees because I was mentoring a 5 Google Developer Student Clubs last year in the second year after my GDSC. And these are a few other trainings. And there are so many other more. But yeah, I started getting accepted to programs. I would even get recommendations from people who would say, "Apply. We will take you if you just apply." And I applied, for example, for the Momentary Global Experience, and they took me to Texas. They paid for the whole thing. It was all sponsored. I never traveled in my life, but when I felt lost, I believe that traveling helps you discover so many things in yourself, or helps you at least move on in life and become a better version of yourself, become stronger, become more empowered. So I found so many communities that helped me. Some of them were programs like the Women Mentoring Global Experience, where we represented Tunisia and Texas. Uh, this is us after the presentation. We actually gave presentations in front of people that were, some of them were from the White House, some others were from George Bush Institute, and yeah, they were like very, very wow people. Yeah. I also got an invitation from Google to go to the Google I/O Connect. I was very active Women Tech Makers ambassador, and I was getting recognized. I didn't actually expect to get anything from that, from these things that I do, but I did get things, and that was really wonderful. I was really grateful. That's when I actually started my first podcast in Amsterdam. And I've always wanted to share my knowledge in a way that's gonna last forever. It's not just gonna go after a workshop and people would go inspired and having more knowledge. That's lovely. But I love to create content that's gonna last for generations. That's gonna be there, the same quality. Everyone can get it. And that's one of the things that I'm trying to prioritize in this year. This is my podcast. I also got another invitation after founding the first machine learning community in Tunisia, MLACT, because we take action in machine learning. I got an invitation for the Machine Learning Community Summit that's hosted by Google in Uzbekistan, and they paid for the whole thing too. Wow! And all of those things were very consecutive. They weren't that far from each other. They were in less than 1 year, and there's more to come. In fact, but that's me raising the Emelect flag and the Tunisian flag with the Google people. That's me talking there, presenting my work. And this is me in Tashkent, Uzbekistan. I gave a talk there about object detection using Keras CV. There were some people from Google there, and that was one of the biggest moments in my life where the demo actually worked. And yeah, it detected that I'm a human being. That was a very nice moment. I also got an invitation to the Developer Creators and Online Community Summit in Singapore. That was kind of recent, about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. All of those things were in less than 1 year. So I went to Texas, Uzbekistan, went to Amsterdam, went to Singapore, 4 places in less than a year. And somehow they pumped life into me. And they inspired me in so many ways. I felt inspired a lot. I met so many people and talked to so many people. But yeah, which brings us to the saying that we said, yeah, these are so many people I met in there. Yeah, the saying. Life is not about finding yourself. It never was, it never will. Life is about creating yourself. But you're not something that's gonna be created. And that's it. You're always gonna need some taking care of, some nourishment. You always need to upgrade things. You need to keep on creating yourself over and over and over. And it's never just something that's done, ticked, and it goes off your list. It's always there. And there always is a room for improvement. There's always room for growth. No matter where you go in life, there's always room for growth. And it's worth putting in the effort and into creating your beautiful selves. This is actually life, and welcome on board. Yeah. Thank you for tuning in with me in this journey. This is the first time I share my full story, the full version. Very happy to Thank you for listening, and very happy that I did that with you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, but I don't know if we still have time. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
It
much.
was really
Really
phenomenal.
phenomenal.
I could relate to most of the parts because I remember when I started my journey, I also started saying yes to every opportunity that came. I also got very excited teaching others. Like what inspired me most, like let's say I did a session, and at the end of the session, the satisfaction, the smiles that I saw on the audience faces makes me like very content in my heart. This I could relate, and at the time I started giving like more than 20 sessions, like 3 to 4 sessions every month. So sometimes it got very overwhelming. Then I thought we should also like stay don't go too fast. We should also respect our bodies as well. Interestingly, there's also one coincident, similarly same thing with you. I also got very much affected by my health due to a lot of overwork in my previous organization. So this I could really relate. That went into my some sort of injury, but God's grace, it's fine now. But yeah, I would love to tell all the audience, respect your bodies. I know you are into passion. You want to do everything in out of the world, but keep take care of yourself and do things bit by bit. Nothing will happen in a day or a month. Even like if you want to build a career, every big thing at least takes 10 years to be there if you want to be on the top. So yeah.
That was an amazing, inspiring session by Iman. Uh, Speaking of inspiring things, Akanksha, why don't you introduce yourself as well? You are doing great as a WTM ambassador, so please feel free to introduce yourself.
Okay, sure. Let me share my screen. And first of all, thanks again, Rishi Raj, for giving me an opportunity to be a host of this session today. And a bit about me, let me share my screen. So, my name is Akanksha Vaseem. I'm the founder of Women in Voice India and a developer community evangelist at Devtron currently. I'm also a Women Tech Makers Ambassador from New Delhi, chapter India, and have previously worked with different organizations. I started my journey as an engineer, then pivoted towards developer evangelism, uh, teaching students, teaching professionals how to build their career in different technologies, especially in the voice tech. And I started my journey by building actions on voice applications on actions on Google, Dialogflow, and even some parts of GCP as well. So that's how my journey started. And it was similar to being like a noob in the beginning, where everyone starts from nowhere. I was just a volunteer in few events, then I started grasping things and learning about it, and then to becoming an organizer myself, I started delivering sessions all across India, in different parts of the world as well, through some international conferences. So that's how my journey began. And I've also mentored students in Google Coding under the TensorFlow organization, and have also been mentored in different hackathons as well. So that's all about my journey. And few things that I want you all to know is like, whether you are a man, woman, it's to take things slowly. I know you want to do everything out there. You want to learn about AI, you want to learn about web, you want to learn about Android, but make sure even after exploring, you have at least one niche where you want to build your career about, be it in terms of the web or AI. Go into more depth, I would say. So that's my journey. And make sure to have fun across this process, and keep learning and growing, and do help each other around, because everybody needs help. So yeah, we are supporting hand in everybody's journey. So that's all about my journey. And if you want to connect with me, you can connect me on via my socials on LinkedIn or Twitter. So yeah. So now I would like to introduce the next speaker. Misha. So Sania is on board with us. She is a software developer at Persistent Systems, and she is also a GDG Nagpur co-organizer and a WTM ambassador from India. I welcome you, Sanya.
She must have been some issue joining.
Okay,
We'll wait some more time and then see what we can do.
sure. And in the meantime, if anybody would love to share about how you have impact the future, how do you want to impact the future, be in terms of technology, creativity, passion, or anything that you are currently pursuing, would love to hear your thoughts. Yes, Sanya is back.
Um, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you so much, Akansha. Really sorry, I was facing some technical issues here. Um, can I present my screen?
Yeah, absolutely. And happy International Women's Day to you.
Happy International Women's Day to you too. Just a second.
We'll be starting in next 2 minutes. Thanks for the patience.
Yes. So here we go. So hi everyone. Firstly, a very happy Women's Day. A very happy International Women's Day. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much, TFUG team, for having me here. Um, I feel we don't need to have a specific day to be celebrated to celebrate this day, but instead we should have. We should be celebrating us every day, our victories, our challenges, and our small successes every day. So, I one thing I really feel about is like, firstly, I would like you all to hit down where are you all joining from, mostly from Kolkata, I know. But if there are any more people that are joining, I just want you to drop down a hello in the chat. Hello, I am joining from Kolkata. Hello, I am joining from Nagpur, wherever it is. So, firstly, I would like to tell like I am joining from the center of India, Nagpur. This is Sanya Imrose. I am software engineer at Persistent Systems. Also, I am a co-organizer at Google Developer Group Nagpur, as well as Women Tech Makers Nagpur. So a bit about myself. Yeah, I'm not Sania Mirza. I'm Sania Imrose. So thank you so much for having me here. Let's get started with a little bit brief about where my journey started. So a second. Yeah. So my journey in short, talking about the career beginnings, I was not a very, I was not a person who can be a topper. For most of the time, I was an average student sitting at the back benches of the classrooms, wherein people do not used to notice me, do not used to know me well, but at the very start it was very much difficult for me to speak on stages. I had that weird kind of stage fear, that keeps me from that becomes a barrier for me to actually experience the personal growth, the personal challenges that I was facing. So at the beginning of my career journey, there was a lot of things that were going on. I was um, I mean, I belong to a journey. I belong to a family. I belong to a place where people and women are not used to being successful, not used to being, I could say, like doing something like a 9 to 5 jobs, doing something, making their own brand or something like that. But basically, the thinking of the people here in the society is mostly like women are just for just for to get them married, that they don't need to study, why to waste money, why to waste energy on them. So that kind of mentality is where I belong from, and that was really very difficult for me to take that high road, take that the other way that I wanted to go. I was always passionate about my career. I was always dreamy that I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to have a big fat career kind of thing. So I was always passionate. I was always there was always a way for me where I used to think that I have to be different, I have to take another road. I am not a person I want to be, a person I want the society actually thinks of me to be. So one thing, like the career beginning is was like, um, I was studying normally, I was an average student, not doing much great. But at a certain point of life, when I felt like this is not enough, this is not what I am here for, this is not what I really want to do, there was a lot of society pressure. There was a lot of things that I used to hear, that my mother, I one of the example is like my mother is from a very small village, a little village kind of place, and wherein like a Hindi kind of background, where people do not focus on career, girls are not like they used to have this kind of gungats and all everything there. So there were a lot of things that my mother faced. She faced um, things that ki, why you want to make your uh, daughter's career, or why you want to make your uh, a career out of your child. She's a girl, she doesn't need to do something like that. I mean, don't waste your energy or money on her. I have heard this multiple times in my life, I could say. So uh, but the point was like, even though everything, the societal pressure, every kind of things that was going on simultaneously, that one thing that never kept me from going, like it was my mother's will. She always wanted to support me, she always wanted to think that to do something out of the box. She always never ever hesitated to make me do something, uh, make me be somewhere I really want to be. So she was the support system I needed in my career. So overcoming challenges, there were a lot of challenges, I could say, like regarding my personal growth, regarding my exterior challenges, some of which is some of which that I constantly faced was uh, the peer pressure, the pressure of the the peer pressure kind of thing, like why you want to be something different, why you want to pursue your dreams, you want to go the high road. That was the one thing that I used to hear a lot in my initial career days. They used to say, just do this and get it done, it is not needed, kind of things. So that is one of the biggest challenges I faced. Second one was like having that worst kind of stage fear. It is, at the initial stage it was very difficult for me to even stand in the classroom and say about a few words about anything. But that challenge, I took it very personal. I mean, I took it on my heart that I want to get rid of it, I want to take it out of me. Why do I face this kind of thing? It is very easy for the other girls and guys to talk about anything and everything, but it was very difficult for me. So I started doing this community work. I got selected in my very fourth year of my college. I got selected as a GDSC lead in my for my campus. And for my college, it was a normal regular college, it was not a very big IT or an NIT, something like that. But we brought in a lot of changes. Being a lead, I brought in a lot of changes in the campus. We brought in a lot of placement opportunities. We brought in a lot of good speakers, good motivating speakers for the students, so that they can get on the high road, get a way out of their leagues, just not doing a service based job in a service based company or something like that. So being a GDSE lead, I started to overcome my fears. I started to speak a little by little, by broken and everything. But at the end of the day, I did it. I took I mean I faced that I was improving day by day. It does not take one day to do so. It takes multiple days and a multiple trial and errors to get through the challenges, the milestones that you face. Like, talking about my achievements, I've always been connected to like the GDSCs, the communities, being the GDG organizer. Firstly, I was just doing the volunteering thing and the GDG Nagpur thing. Like, I was literally making just videos and doing the worst kind of things that I was not knowing as well. So it is not like, key, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to make videos? Why would I want to do a small graphic edit or something like that? It's not that. It's the passion that keeps you going, is the passion that you don't want to give up, even though it is very hard, and even though it is very much difficult to overcome. But that passion to do that small little things is very much important as well. So it is not the failure. Failure is a detour, not the dead end street. It's not like if you failed once or you failed twice, it's not like the world is ending or there is no other way out of it. It is a dead end for all of you. It's not like that. Failure is a part of that success. It is the major part of the success is the failure, I would say. Like, if you have bigger aspirations, if you have bigger dreams, you have to you have to have that courage to face failures, because it is not the end of the world. It's not that the success will not be guaranteed after you fail multiple times. It is always that passion, that one spark that keeps you going and ongoing. So we are just here to celebrate about like the little milestones about every along the journey that fuels motivation and success for everybody's life. So like, I truly believe it is not it is a detour. It is just uh, you are into another route for the success. You will be taking the high road. You'll be taking a turn maybe. So it is not a dead end. Even though it feels like it, even though it feels like I don't want to do it. I don't want to, invest any more time on it. So being the part in the GDG community, as I initially joined, I used to do a lot of small, small tasks, small contributions, I could say, for the community. But that one thing that kept me going was to never give up, to the passion that every small or every large things make you think, make you actually believe in yourself, make you think that you can do much more better. It contributes to your success basically. So it contributes bit by bit to your success. It's not something like, you cannot learn a big major number, or you cannot learn a big major fact, but it is always bit by bit. It is into small pieces that contributes into a larger picture. So I always believe in that. So reason of backing down, there were a lot of things in my initial career days, like um, लोग क्या सोचेंगे वाला रोग. तो obviously social expectations and that past experience that I always had, like why do girls need to study, why do they need to make a career, why do they have to think about something people don't even think. So there was a lot of disturbances throughout the journey. It was very much difficult through the social point of view. There was a lot of people always pulling the legs, always dragging each other down, like this is not how the things should go, this is not how you should be. So yeah, of course, the social expectations to do it in another way. But always believe that I always believe that the aspirations, your dreams should be so big that everything should seem so small. I mean, even though everybody used to talk about a lot of things, why she's wearing this kind of clothes, why she's behaving like this, why she's talking in the conferences, why she's coming home late at 10:30 and 11:30s. But that hardly kept me from going on. That hardly kept me from thinking that no, I want to stop, I don't want to do this because people are saying like that, people are saying like this. So that uh, that pressure, and that even though that pressure and everything, that past experiences that I've faced, that one thing, that one spark that I always wanted to, I didn't want to give up easily. And even though now um, it's not like I want to give up right now as well. Even though whatever happens and however it happens, it's always going forward. So independencies, obviously, there are a lot of things like people say like women are dependent on their fathers, women are dependent on their brothers, women are dependent on their child after marriage and everything like that, and husband after marriage. But it is not true right now. It is not how things are going right now. It's like you should have interdependencies, but you should be independent on yourself. Interdependencies are okay, but you should be independent on yourself, believing that even though everything seems impossible, there is always a way. You always want to have bright and a successful kind of career, believing on that. So I got selected as a then after later became the organizer at GTG Nagpur. Everybody loved my work, and I've already contributed to 10,000 to 15,000 members in the local ecosystem in Nagpur. So and there are a lot of people who look on to for mentoring, for to get to get mentorships, to learn more about new technologies. So as a mentor, I help them out. I make them believe in themselves that everything is possible. They just need to have a way. So being from Nagpur, it is like it's a very small city. It's not like a big town. We don't have much companies here coming uh, for placement and stuff. But even though people have to move out to Pune and Bangalore, but bit by bit we have started building the startup ecosystem here. We are getting more and more entrepreneurs. We are getting more and more companies coming down the line. So it is just a gist of small contributions, the small things that really matter out here. So yeah, so empowered journey in a loop, a small structured success point of view. So your success should be structured. It should be number wise characterized. I mean, I could say like you should have a structured success. In By saying that, it means like having a structured success is dreaming, having big dreams, thinking about how you want to pursue them. It's not like it is impossible. It's not like when Shah Rukh Khan became an actor, he was thinking about he will go this far. So always there are the points where you have to believe that you can do something out of the box. You can do something out of the world, I could say. Like thinking about in such a way, structurizing your success, making it point by point, making that I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that, check. I want to achieve having a car, I want to achieve having a nice house, check. I want to travel the world, check. So this kind of like small bits of success you should be characterizing in a paper or something. Like you should be knowing about what you want to really do, and that is the clarity one really needs in life. That is what I had when I wanted to inculcate with the belief that people are not believing in me, but I have to get going. So obviously there will be times where you will be failing multiple times. I mean, thousands of times. There, that is for no point. Like you will be failing. That is a part of success. But failing and reiterating it. Once you're failing in a particular thing and not repeating it is one thing. Like you should be very firm on a point where after a failure, even though you failed, you will not be doing the same mistake again. You will not be reiterating the same mistake again. So learning from the mistakes, learning from the failure is very much important into be I mean being a part of the success. Knowing how you did what you did wrong is very much important. Next is like measuring your growth after a period of time, after a period of interval of time. You should be there, measuring your growth. How far you came after a year. If I could see myself down the road last year, how far I came this year. So that is measuring your growth. Every time you reiterate and you reanalyze yourself, like how far you came, how far you're looking forward to move ahead. So measuring your growth is very much important. Keeping a constant tabs on everything that you want to achieve, everything you want to build, and everything you want to take forward. Obviously, take improving and taking feedback is a part of partial. Obviously, taking feedback, taking feedback from your friends, from your community people, from your peers, from your family. It is very much important to have feedback because they'll be knowing what you're doing wrong when you're doing wrong. So when you take feedback, when you have that one step ahead to improve yourself. So taking feedback is a very much important part. And then again, in a loop, you have to structureize your success, failing and reiterating, measuring the growth and improving, and taking some feedbacks every time you reiterate, and you every time you think about your moving forward with your dreams. So it's not for like so what does success look like specifically to you? Like, what is success to you? I mean, what is a part of success for you? For me, success is like giving you a little tabs on what success is to me. For me, it is speaking for a session, mentoring students. When a lot of people come from the community, get connected with me, they need help in their internships or in their jobs, in their master plans and everything. I take that as a success for me because I really like to mentor them. I really like to give them a piece and believe a partial of my little bit experience to them about how they can additionally add it to their success. So one part of success is to me like it is specifically contributional. It is like every time you move forward, every time you think about yourself, you are one step ahead of it. Like every time you do something, you are moving forward with it. It's not like stuck in a place like you don't know where to move ahead. Then you should take help from the community people. You should take help from your peers, from your family, from someone who you can look on to. But stucking at a place is okay, but sticking it to it forever is very much wrong. I would say, like, if you do that for a longer period of time, you will miss your goal. You will miss the place where you really want to be. So keeping tabs on everything you are doing, keeping tabs on everything you want to believe, you want to turn out to, because you yourself is a project. You yourself is a brand that you need to develop. So you should be working on yourself bit by bit, partial by partial, but constantly improving, inculcating, learning, and developing yourself is a little bit success that I take it as. um, so you cannot improve something you can't measure. I really like this saying, like always I inspire, I tell my juniors as well that it is you cannot improve at something you cannot measure. You have to measure what you want to do. You have to measure like where you want to become, what you want to become, and where you want to land in your future after 5 years or after 10 years. You yourself need to know where you want to land, where you want to see yourself as in future. So it is like there are three pillars of it, like measuring the success, measuring the growth, your personal growth, your personal brand. So personal fulfillment, for one thing is like doing something that you really love, doing something that fulfills your initial you fulfill your inner satisfaction. So something is like personal fulfillment is something that is only for you. You are happy with what you're doing. You are happy with coding. You are happy with maybe fashion designing. You are happy with speaking. So it is your personal fulfillment. It is a measure that should be taken as your personal fulfillment. Second is like personal growth and resilience. Obviously, you grow day by day. You make your own brand day by day. So personal growth is very much important. Every time analyzing and measuring it, ki how far you have come from the last day, from yesterday. So that is the personal growth you should be looking on to. You should always be keeping tabs on it, be always seeing the growth and seeing the future, how things are moving forward with it. Obviously, I like to, the third pillar is like impacting the world. I really like to impact the world with a small contribution. With anything smaller or bigger I can do, I really like to impact the world, contribute to the betterment of it, contribute for not just for money, but also for the sake of just contributing. It's not always money. It is the respect that you get by doing the other partial things is also very much important in your life. So it is directly proportional to the community work, directly proportional to the extracurricular work that you do, that mentorship you will do, any kind of support you give to your juniors, your seniors, or anyone in the community. So that is the small things that impacts the world, that makes it a better place to live in. So obviously the steps that you need to have for success is like embrace your vision is like where you want to be, and what you want to do. So it is like everyone should be having an adaptable nature. It is okay to be adaptable. It is okay to be like water flowing, storing in a container and everything. But it is very much important for everyone to be ambitious. It's not only for girls or for guys. I mean, it is for everyone to have ambitions, to dream big, to have that gut to find your glory, to have that gut to find what you really want to do, to have that gut to make it happen, to have that gut to what I want to achieve. No if and buts. So that is one thing that I want to put forward with embracing your vision. It is basically being ambitious, basically being on the things, having that clarity of life, that you really want to have have to have a big house, or have to have a big good job, good paying job, something like that. It is anything, but it's your vision that that inculcates your well-being. When you think it like in mentally, in the process of that is like, when you think about things, bigger things, good things happen to you. It is like the law of nature. It comes directly to you. So when you dream big, you have that mentality that I want to achieve that. You don't feel confidence, you don't feel good landing or settling for lower expectations, like settling for lower things. So when you dream big, your lower expectations and the other key things revolve around the big dreams. So setting goals, obviously setting goals is very much important. It is a vital part. I mean, setting up goals, you cannot achieve a bigger, like buying a helicopter tomorrow is not a good dream. Obviously setting up tabs and goals for dreaming is very much important. Like uh, doing it piece by piece and partial by partial is very much important. Every time you take a tab, you do something, you check it out, like, yes, I have set this goal, I have achieved this goal. I wanted to land on a good job next year, yes, I did it. I wanted to have a good pay next year, yes, I did it. I want to speak at that conference, yes, I did it. So this is the small kind of goals that you need to keep track on. Embrace failure. Of course, there are parts where you feel like you will be feeling like, no, this is not happening, no, this is not the way I wanted it to be, no, this is not what I was looking for. So but embracing it with true positive behavior is very much important. Like embracing it, okay, fine, it's okay. I'll do it better next time, I'll do good but next time. So it really doesn't matter what circumstances are. It is how much you can dream big, how much you are able to set your goals and your perspectives straight. Preparing for every little opportunity, like every little opportunity, not thinking like, oh, this is a small interview, oh, that is just a small partial thing, I'll do it. But keeping a thing like always making your mentality strong on that. You have preparing about small things about that interview, preparing all the risk factor that you will be looking forward is very much important. Getting yourself prepared for the world, uh, for whatever opportunity you're looking forward to. So it might seem easy sometimes, but it is difficult to go and do it on that particular day. So being prepared is very much important on the circumstances that your ambitions are landing onto. So like consistent efforts, obviously. It's not like you will be achieving your dream in a day or so. You will always have to consistently hammer the stone to get it done. So it is very much important to take risk. Playing safe is okay. It will get you somewhere, but not the place where you want to be, not the place that is so extraordinary. So taking risk, consistent effort, risk and consistent effort is very much important. It will grow you, as well as it will make you one step closer to your dreams. So these are some of the things that we do in Nagpur for WTM. So we have a group of like 1,000 2,000 people in WTM opportunities. What we do is like we constantly share internship opportunities, we share job opportunities, career related advices. We share every a bit everything that is related for you to grow yourself, maybe jobs, maybe internship, maybe mentorship programs, maybe any events that is holding. So everything we share is in this group. If you like, if you want to land if you want to join the group, that would be really good. We'll be sharing We constantly share all the updates and everything related to jobs, fair courses, everything here. So that is one thing that we do in WTM opportunities group. And second is we have a mentorship program kind of thing, wherein we connect you, the mentees and the mentors together on the same platform, where if a person want to learn machine learning, or if a person want to have a career in artificial intelligence, so we connect you with the right set of mentor to give you the mentorship for to help you reinculcate your career, to develop a roadmap for you to achieve your particular set of goals. So this is one thing that we really we it is a very successful program that we keep on hosting. We constantly connect you with people that you really want to connect with, and that help you achieve your dreams. So if you want, you can scan the code and join in the group, as well as you can fill in the mentorship program for your mentee or mentor expectations. So last but not the least, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is a courage that to continue that counts. That everything is like success is not final. I mean, it is not like you'll be achieving your dream in 5 years apart. It is not like you'll be achieving your dreams in a year or so. But it is the courage that you want to get it going, get it done, is that what is matters. Failure is always not fatal. You'll not die if you fail, obviously. So the only thing that is really important is like the courage to continue the same path, the courage to continue in achieving your dreams, to courage to being ambitious, to fulfilling your bigger dreams is very much important. So that was it from my side. It was really nice talking with you all. If you feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or anywhere. So like, thank you so much. Thank you TFUG team for having me here. Thank you, Akansha.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sana. It was a wonderful talk. And rightly said, like some of the points which I could, and I want all of you to relate is think of yourself as a brand and then work on it. You can keep a journal where you can build your bucket list, as Sanya was mentioning, as writing things down, put you in complete control. Your brain is like an outlet. If you suggest ideas to it, it might suggest you things that are greater than you can think. So it's a great way to keep yourself accountable. And apart from that, you can also try out building in public, which will make you more accountable, be it like 100 days of code challenge or 50 days project. So anything, you can try it out. So yeah, thank you so much, Sanya, for the
Yeah.
wonderful talk. So
Yeah.
now I would,
Thank you so much, Akansha.
yeah, my pleasure. So now I would like to invite the next speaker on the stage. So we have with us Jyoti. Hi, Jyoti.
Hello, Akanksha. Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Can someone please confirm?
Yes, you're audible. Happy International Women's Day.
Same to you, and like wishing a very happy International Women's Day to not just women's, but the men like Rishi Raj and other people who are there, like always there supporting and cheering, irrespective of gender, irrespective of what the person is, like any background. So happy International Women's Day to everyone.
Right.
Um,
And about Jyoti, I would love to introduce her. She is a software developer at Awards.io. She is also a GTG Cloud Kolkata co-organizer and a WTM fellow ambassador from India. I welcome you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Akanksha. Yep. So
Yeah,
let me quickly check sharing my screen.
sure.
Let me know if you guys can see my screen. I think that was the last. 1 second. Let me just get back. Yeah, here we are. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can see my screen. Like I'll just wait for a couple of seconds here. So, like right before me, Sanya was talking, and her session was a lot full of insightful things and her challenges, and she has excelled a lot. And thank you, Akanksha, for having me next, and thank you so much, Rishiraj, for like giving me this opportunity to be here and to like communicate with these folks. Uh, be it online or offline, I don't mind, but then it's basically what I'll be talking about today is pretty much simple thing. I don't consider myself to be a like big successful woman in tech yet, but then I'm on the journey of it and I'm navigating through it. So it's just my way of navigating through the tech world, like as and whatever I do. So, a quick introduction as I think Akanksha already covered all these points, but then Akanksha didn't cover. I'm a trained mountaineer as well. So, what I do is basically I walk like it is a remote job, and by the virtue of that, I get to some time in between to travel and some time in between to pursue my dreams. So not just like, no, I don't only impact the future of tech, I as well as like try my part of the things to get an extra mile towards the field of adventure as well. So yeah, like in next slides I'll be showing you quickly a couple of like my mountaineering journey posts. And definitely I think if even one of you gets on board with tech, like one more techie getting into adventure, my goal would be fulfilled. So yeah, that those are some pictures of, and I have been maximum to 6,100 meters, and that's like around 21,000 feet. So I have been like 20,000 feet above sea level, and it feels surreal. And these photos are like some pictures of these are from my training days. I've just attached it so that I can get you on board. Okay, so moving forward, like we know that we all are like learning each day, thriving, and still we can see like in my team what I can see, the number of women in higher manage, like if there are 10 teams being managed, only one of them are female manager, like one is getting to the senior level. So what's going wrong and what's like going on in this tech? This was my primary concern even when I was passing just out of college. So I passed out of the college back in 2019, and then I had this question, and I had with a lot of self doubt. I started attending community events and talking to women in tech, and like always trying to like just put myself out there was the primary thing. But then why does this happen? Like when I tried to get into some more details of it, what was happening was got across some data which I want to share with you people. And it is basically only like globally, if 100 people are working in IT, like 78 of them, 72 of them are men, and only 28 of them. And these, of course, these numbers like vary geographically. Like maybe in Silicon Valley more women are there, like more than 28% women are there. In India, more than like say 28-30% women are there. But uh, collectively in the world, though we can say that the first programmer of the world was Ada Lawless, or like Grace Hopper, who was even a naval officer. She was a big woman in tech. She being one of the first like movers in the tech as a coder. Still, we just see these less number of women in tech. Why? Why so? So one of the reasons of it, I would like term it to be that. Maybe the conditions or the social pressure or the place from where we come from. Even like Sania's story was something like she comes from a background where educating women wasn't a like it was just a privilege, not a like not a simple thing. So that thing also comes into picture. I'll throw up some more data like to you people to just think upon it a bit more. um, so only 26% of computing jobs out of these 28%, like out of the total workforce in IT, only 26% are doing the computing jobs. So you can see that even in IT, 28% women are working maybe in operations or like something else, like maybe sales, marketing, or something of that sort. But then when it comes to computing job, when it comes to jobs related to like what we do, coding, what we love doing, like um, brainstorming on things, uh, developing projects, there are only 26% of women doing these jobs. And even when it comes to entrepreneurship like roles, it's even lesser. So I'll even go to this way that like why are women like why are women giving it up on that, and why are women not being out there? Because there's even some differences in the pay that's being given out to the women compared to the men. So somewhere it was seen, it's not like my research data, it was a research data from PEW research. And it was said that women get about 18% less pay, and every dollar that's earned like by men, it's like 18% less for women for the same job, like provided the same responsibility given. So maybe like for these small reasons, women are not giving it that much. But in my opinion, there are like much more factors that I'll be talking about. But then these are some factors and some data that I wanted to draw your attention to. Not only that, but like McKinsey says, and like if you say in a team of 10 people, if all are like homogeneous, it will be performing 35%, like it would be outperforming 35% lesser than the people who have women and say different racial people coming from different like geographical locations into a team. So diverse teams are performing much better. And like these data I even like could relate on the local level, and my geographical location currently is Kolkata. So in Kolkata as well, I see like very few women coming out and participating even at these events. Like we do want to have a IWD. We have a IWD planned like for upcoming week, but then we do want to have 100% female participation, but we don't get it. Why? Because a, lesser women are there, b, women are maybe afraid of some things, or maybe having some conditioning going on in their head that they can't like just get out and step into a world of tech, and they consider themselves to be somewhat like lesser of you, like able to do something in tech. Uh, I'll give an example of my own like my own team. I work at evodes.io. That's a broadcasting product solution that gives solution to like playing out channels in TV for Warner Brother Discovery, HBO, and many more like big players. But then I'll show you one screenshot of my team. And out of these 18 folks, only four are women. Like only four are women, and only three are in tech role. One is in operation. So you can even understand like, and these are the three like senior manager kind of a role. These folks are men. So I wouldn't blame that these folks are not giving out opportunity. I would rather say that like if someone of that experience or someone of that level of expertise stayed back, she could have been there, but women drop out in between, and the factors of that, we're just going to iterate through that and just talk about that, so that when we get to the point, when we get to the technical challenges of that point, and I'll even share my like what goes on in my head, because I have been working from like 4.5 5 years, and like how I want to see it when I get ahead. So what I felt when I joined, like back in 2019 when I started, I only knew a couple of web development. I did join the community back then as a volunteer. So I used to only manage like communication part of things, social media part of things, and I did not like do had any technical responsibilities for the from the community. But then, since the community folks, and there has to be like there used to be a lot of technical talks going on. What I used to do is I used to take up on that and try to build small projects. So I started as a web developer, then I moved on to being a DevOps engineer, and currently I'm working as a cloud and infrastructure developer. So it's the journey of it has been coming a long way. And when I joined amongst the team of 10, I was only women. I used to think that if I don't work, they'll uh, their perception of women would be like, this girl can't do this task. Okay, that means girls can't do these tasks. So that was the thing going on in my head, and that is why I just made myself much more conditioned to work extra work, work for longer hours. But this isn't like, this should be totally your take, and don't give a thought about this, that what other people are going to do, that the mistake that I did. And what prevented me to think that way, like what conditioned me um to think this way, that I should be doing some things, otherwise I'll be uh, like I'll be thought that as a woman she can't do anything, instead of like thinking myself as a person. Because research and studies, there has been a lot of job descriptions uh, that just describes things to be done by men, and there's a lot of like one, instead of one, it is like he should be able to do these things and these tasks and that those tasks. So the language of that somewhat affects like how we as a women think, and thus we just resist from applying for the job and applying for the promotion. So even like thinking that I'm capable of being a manager, I won't apply. Why? Because there has been a lot of conditions and a lot of like biasness in the languages and passive aggressive tone going on, like within the tech culture. And we all like are here together to celebrate this International Women's Day. As a subject of that, I would like just draw a small attention and put a small light of that side of the thing as well, that if you have like this kind of thing going on, just be a bit a, a little bit careful in your head about like, am I actually being biased or not? Like just putting the small attention would bring out more women excelling in your organization as well as your community, I believe. I firmly believe that. And then there's this microaggression or passive aggressive tone or unconscious bias that we thought. So one thing was, I heard this small story, and I would like to share it with you all. So first things first is, have you, okay, so there was a guy going out for an interview. His interview was scheduled with the CEO, and he was son of the CEO, but then his interview was in 1 minute, but then he saw his father getting out in a car from the building. So how would the interview be going? So let me frame it again. The the guy was son of CEO, but he had an interview lined up with the CEO, and before entering the building, he has his interview in like a couple of minutes, so he was entering to the building to get to the CEO's office. But then he saw his father leaving from the building of the car. How would his interview be held? Like, anyone wants to give it a guess? Like, how was it how would his interview be taking place? I'm just taking a moment here and waiting for you, like some of you to respond. If you have like any thoughts you have, how would the interview happen? He's son of CEO and his father just left in the car from the office building. Okay, so even then I thought of this, and I heard this example. I was like, yeah, how would the interview happen? The father left and he's son of like CEO. But I never gave attention to this thing that the mother can also be a CEO. No, Gargi. Yeah, it won't be a online interview. It would rather be the mother is the CEO. His father left. So son of a CEO means the mother is the CEO. And this condition, and I was like so much, like in awe of that moment, that I didn't think this way, that it is the CEO is a mother. So like currently with all these upgrades and all these conditioning to even the models like Gemini and all, you can see that if you search of like CEO of an IT company, you'll see both men and women's image coming to you. So that was a thing, and that is how unconsciously biased we are. And like from this example, I just wanted to draw your attention to this thing, that this microaggression and unconscious bias, like this is what we have in our brain inculcated, and we have that inbuilt in us. So to fight that or to eliminate that, we have to think an extra mile, and we have to have like in our daily interaction, it's so much inbuilt that for this reason as well, sometimes the women think that we are not like good enough to be at a place, isn't it? Like, it is a thing going on. So yeah, that was one example that shook me and took me to an oh, that how much unconsciously biased we are. Moving on, of course I showed a number to it: unequal pay and limited career growth. That after a certain point of time, when it comes to the promotion thing, men get more preferred because they think that women, if they go on, say, if they go on managing their work life, the life would be more and the work would be lesser, and then they won't be able to take the responsibility, something of that sort. And that is why they get a limited career growth. Like through numbers, it's shown that they get a limited career growth. So for that very reason, like we are conditioned or we think this way. So moving ahead, like after all these incidents, after reading about all these things, after getting all the data, how I dealt with it, like back, it is a progression or it is a journey starting from 2019, 2020, 21, 22. and 23, and now we are like heading and just starting our way towards like 2024. So how I felt moving ahead of this. So I just reached out to people, and like people like Rishraj, he joined, like he was volunteering with me back in the time, but people leading the community then, Anubhav, currently like people who are my co-organizers at GDG Cloud Kolkata, Snehangshu, Nashirulda, Kazida, Abhishek Nandida, everyone out there, even like every folk I interact with, be it a guy from our volunteering team, or be it a person who is just a community member, I get something or the other to learn. And then I even streamline some of my time into dedicating it to enrolling for a course. Like when I feel completely lost and feel like my skills are not upgrading, I even often go to like um, developer communities and take a GCP test, or take a AWS tech of text like tests in that short. So that's how like I do when I feel that I should be progressing. And one stepping stone it is building a strong professional network. So what does this network imply? The network in a nutshell says that network of events, talking into conferences, attending conferences. And then there was one program, Women Developer Academy by Google itself. And there's even a lot, like there has been challenges going on GCP. So all these things build with AI, and all these challenges going on. So just putting yourself out there and building like a small block and taking it with you even counts. And that's what like helped me. I started talking more about what I don't know 10 things, but I even know two things which maybe like some of you don't. So I can talk about it, of course, and you can also start the same thing in that way and progressing in the same way. So attending these events, conferences, and connecting to the platforms. I'll give you some more insights of what these platforms are and what WTM is like later. But then these were small parts of my journey. Then there is even women tech makers providing coding education to girls. Girls Who Code is their very big organization providing to this. So enrolling for that, even I did enroll for Women Developer Academy back in 2023. So that was also a part which I did to upskill myself, because I didn't had a good skill of like writing blogs, and I still try to do that. I learned the skill from there. I took out and carried out some of the projects you can see on my GitHub, like during later last year and mid last year. Those were part of these engagements. And supportive workplace policies. Yeah, I have been very vocal, and my workplace has been very understanding about these uh, things, that when I travel. So I already mentioned this thing that I travel. So not just parental leave policies, like women in later age do back out for parental issues, but then like these inculcating these leave policies and giving them a chance to maintain work life balance brings out like much more retention of women's into organizations. And of course you can, I am a WM ambassador, I talk about it. And you can also be one to advocate for the equal opportunities. It's not just the women specific opportunity, it's equal opportunity, or men specific job or men specific opportunities. It should be equal opportunities for both women and men. um, so even this term was coined for equal opportunities only. It was not that the women would be celebrated and the men would not be. So that is how I treat it, and that is how I progress, and I look forward to it. And like this is a very big question. Even when like growing up, I'm 26 now, and moving in like later age of my life, I have seen women uh, hitting 30s, and in their being in their mid 30s, they leave their career, especially in tech, and just pursue something else, pursue some management role, like non-tech management role or something of that sort, or they just like leave it because they can't do it. And what's the biggest reason for this? Like thinking twice for this. I jotted down some points which might be helpful for you folks, your elder brothers, elder sisters, your like community folks, your parents, or anyone of that sort who's like trying to get more data or get more things into it, as well as it might be helpful when you get to the stage like down some years down the line. So, like starting from the time you start working, like currently some of you might be in college, so just get ahead, get that job. But then learning skills is always going to be a part of it. Get yourself to a point where you don't get saturated from work and maintain this work life balance. And some of the companies offer very good remote work policies and flexible hours. You can avail that if you want. If you want to go to the office and work, well and good, it's your thing, go ahead, do that. But company policy supporting that, like women leaving the career, was mainly for work life balance and policies related to that and managing their priorities and stress. So time management and taking it slow and learning things on the go are the thing which I got to know when I read more about it. So yeah, that would be the stepping stone for me when like moving forward some years down the line. And if you know anyone struggling with it, please feel free to connect them, or like talk to themselves, or and get them in some of these like mentorship programs, some of these women in tech programs, so that you don't lose a good engineer for like small issues in life. And yeah, like not just men, like not just women, but also men can be a member of this women techmakers community. And I am I am me being the ambassador of that. Like I would love for like some of you to take a moment and click like or get to this link. Just search Google WTM, Google Women Tech Makers, and then you'll get to this link. So yeah, that would be your place to join the community. And if you want to be if you want to be ambassador, in the same link, if you scroll down, you'll get a like become an ambassador thing. Not just women but also men can apply to be an ambassador. But then women are given preference because already you saw that 28% of us in tech are women. If these 28% are not taking the responsibility to be a women tech makers and like ambassador, how would be they able to get a leadership role or management role? So that is why women's are given preference in that. um but yeah, that was a bit about it. And coming to like share meanwhile, if you have any question, concern, comment regarding things, you can just write it down in the comments. I'll wait for a minute. But before that, I would share my small story of finding a job during COVID, finding a job before COVID, and getting a job after COVID, like three segments. Because I was passed out just before COVID from college in 2019. So that time it was pretty easier for us because companies used to do these like offline campus placement rounds for students of various colleges that I think I'm pretty sure your colleges must also be doing. And even these like all India level service based companies entry started in that year itself. So I've even gone through like the TCS digital hiring and like all these big service based companies hiring as well. So finding job during that time, you didn't have to worry more about like from where to start from. But these days, after COVID, the situation has changed, and how I do it is updating my CV, making small projects. Because until and unless you find a problem statement and you jump into solving that, you are not bagging your skill and you are not testing your skill. So um that's what it it was when it came to finding a job after COVID. It was just as simple as updating your skills, finding more people to like communicate and getting your problem statement streamlined, and then solving or creating a solution for this. So even if it is a small single page application, it still counts. So go ahead, do that. Like that will help in finding your job after COVID. And during COVID was a situation when everything shifted from offline to online, and that's how it's continuing. So my company was acquired during COVID, and in mid 2020, like in April May 2020, when the world was like locked down and was about to open up, we were notified that either you have to work as a support engineer, like the development team is going to be resolved, so either find a job or you have to work as a support engineer. So how I dealt with that was very simple thing. I started applying for more and more jobs, and let me tell you a fact or figure that I myself felt that there, if you see a job opening and you apply for it and you don't get a call back from there, just don't give hope. uh, like just don't give up on the hope. Why? Because I myself saw the conversion rate to be like, out of every 15 job I applied for, and that were like 80% matching my skill set, I was only getting two calls. So 15 is to 2 was a conversion ratio for getting a call via LinkedIn, Naukri, like all these websites. So even if you are applying for a job, just keep this in mind that giving up is not the solution. And I what I used to do is I used to update my CV for every job I applied for. So doing that and keeping that in practice, be it a man or a woman, it will help you out. So yeah, that's it from my side. I am waiting for another minute to take questions. If you're not getting any question, then
Yeah. Thank you so
uh,
much, Jyoti. Yeah, go ahead.
I have the QR to show. So can you? I
Sure.
think my screen was shared. Yeah. If not, you guys can connect me offline. This is the QR. Thank you so much for being patient and listening to me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jyoti, for sharing your amazing journey and sharing us some practical tips for jobs and even sharing the potential biases that are there in our workspace as well as even in our whole community as well. So it was really fruitful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Akanksha and Raj, for having me.
Yeah, we also have a comment from Vijaya. Let's champion equal opportunities in the tech industry, ensuring that women have the same chances to excel and contribute. So that's
Of
why we
course.
have women tech makers for all of you. Thank you so much, Gargi.
Okay, over to you, Akanksha and Raj. Thank you. Bye.
Okay, bye. So next, I would like to invite Sara on stage.
Oh, hello. Hello, everyone. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Akansha.
Happy International Women's Day.
Oh, thank you. To you too. And to
Thank you.
to everyone, the ladies, the men, and everyone.
Yes. So what time is at your place now? Is it
It
evening
is
or
it is 2 p.m.
okay, it's afternoon, so good afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would
I
like to introduce you.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So Sara is joining us from Morocco, and she is a Google developer expert in machine learning and also a Google PhD fellow. She is also a TensorFlow group user lead as well as a WTM ambassador from Casablanca. So I welcome you. Stage is all yours.
Thank you. Okay, let's get this party started. Here I go. So, yeah, Google developer expert in machine learning, Google PhD fellow at NCS, which is a Moroccan school, like the best Moroccan computer science school, NVIDIA deep learning instructor, an university ambassador, co-founder of AI Wonder Girls, and so many dizzying titles. To be honest, I never expected to get all of these, at least not in such a short amount of time. So, hello everyone, this is Sara Latif, and today I will be recounting to all of you my AI journey. So, how did we, AI and I, find each other? Well, by 2016, 2015, 2016, I was really obsessed with K drama, or what we call Korean drama. And there was this Korean drama called Hello Monster, which is a criminal drama. And like in the first episode, just the first one, the actual male lead, the one you're seeing in the picture right now, he was analyzing, like data in like where, when actually his flight will be, available, and when he will be able to kind of like board it so that he can get to Korea. And in that first episode, he started analyzing all of this data, how much it will take time for the airplane to park, and then obviously all of the signals that you're seeing here, like how much it will take of the signal info for the person that is in charge to help it park, and all of that. So this was actually one of the first kind of like clicks that made me like, I would really love it if I could do something like that too. Have a bunch of data in front of me, and then pick whatever kind of like seems interesting to me, and kind of like get an insight out of it. So here, for example, when he will be able to board his own flight. So this is like the insight he was trying to extract from all of this data. And well, K-drama wasn't the only thing I was addicted to. Before that, I was addicted to anime. And there was actually this new interesting anime that had like just recently gotten out, obviously in 2016, called Kuroku no Basuke. And it was about basketball, players. And the one of the like coach's assistants, the girl here that you're seeing in gray, what she did was that she used a data analysis to kind of like know if the player will be, the best kind of player for a certain game. But the difference between the K-drama and this anime is that in this anime, she actually spelled what it was that she was doing, because I was like a huge fan of of analysis, but I never knew what was like, the kind of like job word, or like, the technical title of it. So thanks to her, I kind of got interested into, well, knew obviously what the title was, and so I could search about it and get to know it more. And at that time, one of the things that I obviously wanted to start doing, because I was in my first year in engineering, I was interested in improving my LinkedIn. And at the time, there were a lot of articles around AI, big data, data engineering, data science, and all of this jazz. It was the sexy job of the century. So that was like, all of these factors were what sparked my interest into the field. And there was obviously another interest that helped, which was the fact that my own school was opening a major, which was like in South El Jadida, was opening a major in big data engineering. This was like one of the options that we could choose from in our last engineering year. And, kind of like all the key factors started to click, and I got seriously interested in it. When you get serious about something, what do? Well, you start learning about it. By the time, I had a dear friend of mine that was one of my schoolmates. We were like around 21 students, because this was a highly selective engineering school, and it was like the first time this kind of major opened up in our school. And my friend was Kevin Degila. He is currently the head of data and AI à l'Agence des systèmes d'information et du numérique. It's a French thing. And the thing is, while I was interested in learning about AI and all of that, I hadn't yet started to get serious, started to pursue courses and try to understand all of that. But he actually was, he advanced me in this learning thing. So he was learning from different sources. He was learning from this like fun MOOCs, it's like huge open courses available out there in the internet. He down the line he started learning using books, and when he was learning he was sharing with me what was helpful to him. So I figured out what type of courses I should avoid, because I would be more confused than it will be helpful for me, especially for someone who's starting out, and what actually to check as a resource when I was to learn better something specifically. So when he was exploring these very difficult courses to actually get the craft, I was still dancing around with this, data thing. So what I actually chose to do was to just kind of like figure out what is this data science thing? What is big data? Like, what is AI? I just wanted to first understand what it is and what could be done with it before I got serious about any of it. So I took some courses from Coursera that were all of them like were from IBM, and they were like just very simple. Like the goal from them was for me to get an initiation, like what is happening, what it is, what can be done with all of this. I still didn't start coding anything. And you can find, by the way, all of these courses for free in cognitiveclass.ai, or obviously you can check out the Coursera. One of the things we had to do, like in our second year of engineering, thanks to a professor, was to actually do the data science with Python, kind of like let's call it a super course because it had several courses. So it's called track from data camp. And that was actually one of the things that was really helping a lot with all the data part of it. That is like how to ingest data, how to use Python, to visualize data, to do the supervised, unsupervised learning, especially in supervised learning, how to clean data, and all of the very basic things that you need to learn in data science, machine learning, or anything that has anything to do with data. Along the way, especially in my last year, I started to figure out I didn't want to do data science. I didn't like big data, by the way, even though I chose to do big data as in my last year. But it wasn't what I was interested in. What I was interested in was actually deep learning, and more specifically, deep learning for computer vision. So that's when I started, to get these opportunities like from Udacity scholarships with Bertelsmann, and then with DevC, Facebook DevC circles that are discontinued. But at the time, they provided free scholarships. So thanks to them, I have been able to do like data foundations, deep learning, and obviously like the last one is like AI product manager. Now let's talk about, it's school. Learning is cool, but what are we going to do with all of this? What did I want to do at the time? What did I aspire to be? Well, it turns out what I wanted to do was to actually use deep learning and become a deep learning research and development manager, chief, you call it. I wanted to do research, and I wanted to do research that was practical and was going to be used by actual people to do something they really needed. So to do that, one of the things I needed to do was to get further studies. Like if you at the time looked at all the the jobs available for data, obviously they were known in my country. I'm talking about abroad, and like Canada and all of these US and all of these countries. They asked for people to either have a master, like specialized master in data, or to actually have a PhD. Now, obviously, I wanted to do research and development. And although my engineering is technically speaking enough. It wasn't that enough to actually do research, right? Especially if I wanted to be the head or something like that. So what I did, me and my friend, like we were doing this together, if you remember. I applied to I applied to the second master year because in our engineering school we study for 5 years. That is like usually what we call master. So I applied for the second master, like that is the 6th year in University of Paris-Saclay. It's in France. I also applied for a PhD in most, like in at least 3 US universities. That is PhD in Cornell, and then University of Massachusetts, and University of Texas Austin, and then even I applied to a program PhD in Vienna, Austria. Anyway, I applied to a lot of opportunities. Now, let's talk about the complications. Usually when you're doing something, not everything works out. Actually, the number of things that works out is like 1/5 that you did. So when I was applying, one of the research centers I applied to was A Star. It's the best research center in Asia, and it's in Singapore. When I applied, they accepted me and all of that. And when I started the paperwork, at a certain point, they requested from me, kind of like a diploma equivalency. So I needed to provide them with something that said that my diploma, the one I have from Morocco, equaled a master. COVID happened and 3 months have gone by. I have requested the letter from my school, and well, I'm not going to spoil all of this, right? So one of the things I got as when I was, obviously at the time, I was also attending some conferences locally, and kind of like enjoying hanging out with the community and attending their events and organizing some of them. I was offered several jobs in data. So at the time, in my last year, 2019, Morocco started to get interested in AI as well, and we had several programs opening up. So there were some jobs that people like called me to be like joining and then part of their team. But none of them were actually what I aspired for. None of them did deep learning. They all did the basic data science stuff. That wasn't really what I wanted to do, if you remember correctly. But meanwhile, while I was applying and doing all of that jazz, I needed to upskill myself. And one of the ways I enjoyed upskilling myself was through volunteering. Because it turns out, thanks to an experience I had called Smile Beyond Engineering Education, which goal was to bring a smile to the local people by leveraging engineering education and all of our skills. So I figured out I really loved, kind of like building solutions, teaming up with people and building something that is useful for other people. Getting paid or not was not like the drive. What really excited me about it was just to be able to give back in any kind of way and use, obviously, my skills in some kind of practical way. So that's why I volunteered in my first project with Mdena, which was the post-traumatic stress disorder challenge. Along the way, I also applied to a virtual internship. It was my first virtual internship. I have done a lot of internships locally, but it was my first virtual experience, which was extremely remarkable. I liked it so much that right the month after I finished like the virtual internship, I got offered to be a technical mentor. And then right after that, they offered me to be a machine learning mentor, where I created courses for people, mentored people, and all of that jazz. But by then, I was still doubtful of the fact that I would get, accepted in any of the PhD programs I actually applied to, even the master one. Simply because, like, when you have a third world country diploma, it is really tricky to get people in other countries to kind of like recognize it, because especially for Moroccans, we follow the French system, education system. Like we have masters, uh, license. We don't have bachelor like the other, English following countries. So our system was very different. So I was doubtful I would actually be getting anywhere with all of those applications. I still had hope, but I still had to be practical, right? So what I did was I contacted a professor in Morocco, which is currently my supervisor, and that was working in electronic health. I contacted him, I had an interview with him, and like we struck it. And I was obviously very clear with him that I had I applied to other programs, but if what we were going to work on was more interesting, I would still like accept the offer. Well, let's talk about my hunch. So as I said, I applied to different programs previously, right? Well, yeah, I got rejected from all of them. Not even one of them actually worked out. Even the A star in Singapore thing, it didn't work out because, well, my university did not give me the letter I needed, which was a huge disappointment. But it's okay, right? Because I still had a PhD offer with my current supervisor. So in that year, I got, accepted into the PhD I'm doing right now. I started working on my thesis, which was around multimodality learning for eye diseases and COVID-19 diagnosis. By the time I applied for the Google PhD fellow, because in Morocco we don't get funding for research, so I had to get some funding. So I applied to different programs, but I got the Google PhD fellowship. During that time, I also applied to Erasmus Plus exchange with University of Murcia. It's in Spain, and I got it. And during that time, by the way, like one of the programs I really wanted to do was Women Developer Academy. But the problem with Women Developer Academy, it's a Google program, by the way, one is that it was not available in Africa, or at least not in my country. It was available for South African. Obviously, I'm not from in South Africa, I'm in North Africa. So there's no way they would accept me in that region. So me going to Spain and doing the exchange provided me with this opportunity to apply to all of this myriad of Google programs that were only there for Europeans. So I applied to the Women Developer Academy. I applied to another program as well that I will be talking about later on. And one of the things I was considering, I was dancing with, considering, because I heard about it like several years ago. I was very interested in getting it, but I wasn't serious about it, right? It was the Google Developer Expert, getting into the Google Developer Expert program. But the thing is, I had no confidence that I would be getting it, at least not this soon, not with the skills I had at the time. So what I did, I had to convince myself somehow that I was ready to get the recognition, which is the GDE thing. So what I did was I challenged myself and applied to pass the interview for the NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute certifications. At the time, we had a program with them. It was called Emerging Chapters with TFUG Casablanca, which is the chapter I'm leading currently. So we had that program with them, and they gave us the right to apply for different certifications interviews if we wanted to. And it was for me it was a great test for me to know if I was ready to go for the GDE. So I passed for 2 certifications, the fundamentals of deep learning and AI for anomaly detection. I got both of them. So this was like the time I got some kind of confidence that I was ready. And I did the Women Developer Academy, and it gave me more confidence. So the reason why I did the Women Developer Academy was for me actually to kind of like be able to beat the the imposter syndrome about me being able to talk in big conferences outside of my country, because at the time I delivered different talks inside my country, online as well abroad, but never in presential in front of thousands of people. So that's why I did the Women Developer Academy, to kind of like gain that confidence. And it helped me, push me to do the NVIDIA thing too. So at the time as well, there was, a group of amazing ladies together from the Mdena bunch. We got together in one WhatsApp, and we started, I started this kind of hackathon challenge thing where we, like, every month or every so, we were doing a challenge, and then, in the first few tries, we obviously were winning every time, which was very interesting. So that, that pumped my confidence even further. And I also like applied to fruit punch AI challenges. I was doing like them, like Amdena. It was volunteering. I wanted to try something new as well. And I finally got the confidence to apply for big conferences. That was like, for example, Devox UK, Belgium, and the Moroccan version of it. I at that year in 2022, I got my first journal paper published. I was accepted to attend several summer schools that I was like thinking I would never get, and even like some conferences. Like, thanks to that, I got to attend Mikai in 2022. That's like the best highly classified conference in medical and AI, which was really cool. Now let's talk about the GDE thing. So when I was like when I finished with the Women Developer Academy, there was this thing I heard about called Road to GDE that you could apply to, that would make you ready to the GDE thing, right? So that's what I did. I applied to it, and I got accepted, and I got, the certification of it after the 3-month mentorship. And what this helped me do, by the way, is to get my stuffs together, because by that time, it was, I believe, in late 2022. So yeah, May 2022. So by that time, I already had a lot of resources, because I am someone who is really active. So that is like, I do a lot of things at the same time. So I had contributed to several open source projects. I was, thanks to the AI Wonder Girls, we did a lot of challenges, and we always open source our code. I delivered a lot of talks around TensorFlow. I did a lot of projects in PyTorch. So I had a lot of things. The problem was that all of them were all over the place, and I had no idea what I did when. So what the Road to GDE really helped me do is structure and organize all of my contributions in one place. Now it's time to apply to that GDE thing. So did I really apply right after finishing Road to GDE? Nah, I only applied, I think it was 2 months after that. And why? Because everyone was applying, and everyone, especially in my Twitter, was celebrating how they got into the GDE. But I was still hesitating. I was like, am I really ready? Will they accept my application? I was like, and when I saw people, celebrating and doing and, getting the recognition and all of that, I was like, you know what, Sarah, why don't we just do it? It doesn't matter if we fail. I mean, if we don't get it, no one is going to die. We can just apply another time, right? So I got my courage in my hands and applied for that. I passed the interviews and got accepted in 13 September 2022. Also, all of the talks I had submitted for the 3 DevOxes I was talking about, the UK one, the Belgium one, the Moroccan one, were accepted. Although I didn't get to attend them, especially the UK and the Belgium one, because of the visa issues. Yeah, I didn't get visa, which was very sad. But I got, into the GDE thing in TensorFlow Core, because that was where I was contributing the most, and had some cool wins, right? Now, what did I learn from this journey? So Usually when you want something, most of the time it doesn't work out as you exactly want it. I wanted to do a PhD abroad, but I did my PhD inside my country and had a lot of amazing opportunities. By the way, everything that I shared with you is just like around 3% of all the stuffs I had the opportunity to, live and go through. So the only thing and advice I can give you on this one is to pursue what you want relentlessly and to do what you enjoy. So this is actually like perhaps one of the things that I never let go of, is that I always do what I want, what I really want. Even though it's scary, I have no idea how to start it or how to do it, but I just do it because that's what I want, because I hate doing what I don't like. When you're going through a journey, especially if you're an overachiever, there tend to be a problem of you're always pursuing, but you never take the time to celebrate all the success you had. And so what happens is that as you go on pursuing, achieving the next thing, you forget and stop being grateful of what you have, and that kind of like destroys your confidence in yourself. So my advice to you and to my own self is to celebrate all the highs and to learn from the lows. Do not take the lows as your failures, as in you failed yourself. Actually, the more you are trying, the more you are actually helping yourself. You're doing yourself a favor, because the problem is to not do anything. It's not to fail, it's actually to not do anything. Failing is part of the success route, the journey, but not doing anything, that's for sure is letting yourself down. So rejection is redirection. I don't remember how many times I was grateful that I didn't get to, what I wanted specifically, because that's what I thought I wanted, but that wasn't exactly what I needed. So be open to a change of plans. Obviously, when you're doing something, the end result is not in your hands. What is in your hands is the actions you take. There's no need to rush, especially if you're someone like me who's impatient. Things are not going to work out as you exactly want them. That's not how life works. Life works by you doing things and then things piling up, and then you getting some of the things you wanted, and most of the time you will end up getting actually way more than what you wanted. So stop complaining. Yeah, I used to do that a lot, especially towards the end of 2022. I was complaining all the time because I wasn't, contributing as I wanted to in my research. And that ended up causing a huge issue. Like, it ended up pushing me into depression and all of that and inaction. So I do advise you to stop complaining and do what you have to do and what you can do to kind of like move towards what you want. And if you see yourself complaining a lot about something, take the time to sit down and figure out what you actually want, because most of the time you're complaining because you're not doing what you want. You're actually doing something that you think you want, but isn't really what you want. So the higher you seek, the more you should invest. So if you want, I don't know, let's say, for example, you want a Nobel Prize, the work that you will be putting is 10x more than a normal researcher's work, right? Because you want a Nobel Prize. So you need to put more work. The higher you seek, the more work you will be putting, the more sacrifices you will be making. This is what we call the currency you have to pay for that achievement. Now, here is something I always thought, especially in my early days when I was applying, for masters and internships in my second and third year when I was doing engineering. I actually thought that opportunities weren't available in my country. they were only for those abroad. And that wasn't true, because opportunities are actually everywhere, especially if you look for them, because they aren't going to come knocking at your door for sure. The question is, are you actually ready for them? So sometimes an opportunity might show up right on your doorstep and you're like, should I take it? Am I ready for it? And that's the question you need to ask way before you want the opportunity. So figure out what opportunity you want and start getting ready for it. So when the opportunity knocks on your door, you're like, heck yeah, I'm gonna do it. That was it from me. Please follow me, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot them for me.
Thank you so much, Sarah. It was a wonderful talk, and lot of retrospection also came into us. Lot of points where we need to think more deeply on all the thoughts and all the process and even workflows that we have in real life.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was a wonderful talk.
thank you. Do they have any questions for me?
Let me check. We can wait for 5 to 10 seconds more. Right now, there are no questions. So we got a comment
Thank
from
you.
Lydia.
Well, feel free to reach out to me in my social media. You can just type my full name. And if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, just feel free to reach out to me. I'm always usually available.
Yeah. Thank you so much once again, Sarah. It
You're
was lovely to
welcome.
have you over here.
Thank you very much for inviting me. And I hope you're having a great, I believe, night.
It's evening kind of right now.
Okay, then evening.
Yeah. But
All right.
post the call, we will go into night mode.
All right. Cool. Then enjoy your time. And thank you very much. And obviously, happy Women's Day.
Yeah, same to you. Thank you so much.
You're
Bye.
welcome.
So next, I would like to invite the next speaker. So now we have Leslie joining us. Hi, Leslie.
Hi guys. How are you? Thank you for the invitation. I'm super excited to be part of this celebration. And hello everybody. I'm currently in Bolivia in South America, so it's really kind of morning here. So
Good morning.
it's really nice to be part of this presentation.
Yeah, happy International Women's Day to you.
Yeah, thank you. And I've shared my screen.
Sure. In the
Yeah, so
meantime,
I'm
I would
ready.
like to introduce you. So, Leslie is a co founder at Mentor Her and is an amazing edtech entrepreneur working with AI startups and a traveler from Bolivia. She's an amazing GD in ML, built great curriculum at deeplearning.ai, and also a former mentor at Udacity. So, I welcome you at the show.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for the invitation to be part of this celebration. I'm super excited. Yeah, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my journey, but also I want to talk about one of the projects I've been working on, which is related to LLMs that you may have heard. And I think it's very inspiring to actually understand what's the technology behind on this and how we can empower ourselves. Just to continue on my presentation, I'm super excited to be supporting women and inspiring them into get into STEM field areas, because in the context in Bolivia or Latin America in general, as in everywhere, there are not many women in these fields. And also you can actually see like most women that get graduated, they don't also finish or they get a job in the field because of the experience, because they don't feel to work in this area, or they don't see actually how is it going to be in the future then. But what is actually exciting is that I have met other amazing people in our region, and they are scientists, they are technologists, mathematicians, and they are doing great careers in industry, but also, in academia. So it's really exciting to get to know them, to give them this visibility to a broader audience, and get the younger ladies to understand that if you like math, if you like computers, if you like coding, you actually can follow a career in this area. And that's why we with some friends we had these kind of talks for visibility of women in Bolivia mainly, to also inspire how to get a career in this area, how to start working in this area, and it has been a great chance. And as I mentioned, also I'm since 2019 I've been part of the Google Developer Expert Program. I learned about the program through these kind of events and through communities that they were developing these meetings and study groups, and I was always excited to understand how to contribute to the community and how to also keep learning on site. Because when I start joining to these meetups, I actually graduated from university. I studied telecommunications engineering. I was working as software developer for a telecom company, but I was feeling like, I had to study to keep learning about technologies in my job, but also I wanted to learn about trends and meet like-minded people, and that's how communities and meetups became super exciting, because it's so cool to find other people they want to share their knowledge or their projects in some specific technology that maybe you've never heard, but it gives you another broad vision of opportunities where you can actually understand how big is technology and what you would like to do. Yeah, so then I learned about the GD program. I was currently there working with the machine learning models. I was teaching about TensorFlow. I was doing a different kind of projects, and it was a great chance for me to join the program. And I know at the beginning it has been like so many smart people being part of this program, and actually how hard it was like to even follow or understand how many years of experience most people had. But at the same time, I was very excited to contribute my little or middle knowledge in specific topics, and also my enthusiasm to keep learning, to bring new communities, because most of this knowledge is also in English, and I still do to translate some of this knowledge to share with my local community, with my students when I work at university. So it's really cool they get to learn basic and foundation concepts on their own language, which is super exciting. And it was a good point actually for the GD program that I was doing a lot of efforts for the community while also learning on TensorFlow. And yeah, it's over a year that I've been working at Deep Learning AI. If you ever heard about this platform, it would be nice to know. We are working these short courses, which is super excited, since we are learning about new technologies related to generative AI, and also how to apply them and how to keep scaling, because all this generative AI has brought so many new applications, so many new opportunities, and I totally find super exciting that women, we can actually start building startups, business over this. We can start building new technology over this, and this will bring also development for our families, for our region. That's why I want to talk to you about the power of language understanding related to the LLMs. So in the brief, I'll go quickly over an introduction. There's some concepts and applications about the LLM, and then I will go about some innovative solutions related. Okay, so in general, if you imagine what is artificial intelligence, is actually a huge group of studies. And if we want to find where we are talking about learning specifically, like machine learning, this is another subfield that we can find there. And I know we have a ton of different techniques in this area. And specifically, we have to land in the artificial neural networks. If you ever heard about that, in biology, for example, neural networks or a neuron, that's kind of the inspiration to find in this other side how artificial intelligence should work. And it's been really exciting that a bunch of different applications that we can see today related to AI are actually going into this deep learning subfield. It's cool that we can find this actually in this deep learning, what is the generative AI. And in other side, it's very important to actually understand in machine learning what we have been working on with the predictive machine learning models, where we actually have the data, the labels, and we are producing a certain output that's going to be related to a new label, to the label that the main idea is to have the machine to discover the patterns, to understand. So when you give the machine a new set of tasks, the machine will give you directly an answer. And I think it's very exciting today that we can see this kind of machines where you have generative AI models, for example, and you can actually see this kind of output. As the name mentioned, generative is related to this kind of generating new content. And how does it work? Today, with this kind of models, we can actually interact with these large language models through natural language. This is the power of understanding, because if I ask to a chatbot, like, give me a list of the 5 most important scientists in the world, or scientists or mathematicians or something, you are kind of talking to this machine, which is actually an AI model, as we can see on the screen, and we can actually get a response, right? Which is now shown as a completion. And from that completion, of course, we are having the response. But if you go 5 years back in time, or even 10 years back on time, it's kind of hard to create this. And it's actually the most focused, like, to really train the models, to really gather a lot of data, to really work on the math behind. But this is also done today, but the different thing is related to what we are having in this kind of models, where you actually are having this sort of conversation and you can actually have the response of the reply. So what's new on this, and what applications can we learn and can we work beyond ChatGPT or Gemini, or what was called BART, which is now Gemini? We have to see there are many of these large language models, such as Meta, another from Stanford, another Vicuña, and of course, we have to talk about Google, which just released this Gemini model. And if you hear about the latest news, also we have Gima, which is actually an open source LLM, and it's so exciting to have this technology in the open source community to actually help us to understand more how this technology is working and what we can build on top of this. The first question might be, what is actually this LLM? You're actually mentioning like large language model, and it's really cool if you go to Gemini and you just ask it. Here, the most practical thing is gonna be, how are you asking your questions? And you actually can see from this side that you are going from maybe coding specifically a specific task to actually asking these kind of questions, right? So I'm writing here my prompt to what you can actually see on the screen. The very first part, we are asking, explain in simple words. I want to have it as clear as possible. What is an LLM? And maybe I should say in AI for example. So here there is also super interesting to start working in this kind of ability if you want to get along with, if you want to get more practice, I should say, with generative AI. So you're actually saying like simple words, what is this, explaining, give me this kind of output, and the chatbot, the machine behind, is gonna give it to you in that sense. So I'm going to share these slides, and you can see all the links that I'm mentioning here. So it's gonna be cool that you can go on them. But I want to go a little bit into Google technology. I want you, wait, I want you to pay special attention to the next image because it was one of the first videos related on Google launch for Gemini and models that is actually interacting not only with the language in the sense like I ask a test and I get a response, but also in the sense like I'm going to show you an image and I want a reply, or I'm going to ask you on text and I want exactly an image or reply, right? So I just want you to see specifically here what is happening with the video in this case of the cat. And we are asking the model what's going to happen next, and the model is guessing as well as in a conversation what is watching on the video. So it's really exciting because actually we can use this multimodal kind of communications in this sense because we have text, we have images, we have videos, and so on. And that's the exciting side when we are talking about these LLMs, because we can find a bunch of applications that we can start using now, like automatic text generation, text summarization, translate machine, sentiment analysis, chatbot, semantic search, and so on. And of course, the specific, the concept I should point here is large language models, as mentioned in Investopedia, a deep learning algorithm that's equipped to summarize, translate, predict, and generate human sound text or common ideas and concepts. So it's really exciting how we can actually use this technology related to AI, of course, to build this new knowledge, to build all these other kind of technology at the same time. And specifically, I want to show you here what is this Maker Suite. I'm sorry, I'm a bit rushing because of the time. I have another meeting in some minutes. So I want to show you what is this Google AI platform. It's online, it's for free. You need your Gmail account to get started. And it's so cool to actually start chatting with this, and not only with the text but also related to the images, right? So for example, in this example you see on my screen, I try on my very own Spanish, which is our language here in Bolivia. I'm asking about a movie, but I'm asking you to guess a movie, but I'm giving you actually emojis. So we are interacting with this other kind of communication, right? Text, images, videos, and so on. And it's pretty good that in Spanish, this can actually reply to what I'm asking with the text and the emojis. But also, it's really cool that this tool has this option about get code, if you can see at the top up, where we are actually having what? Actually the code that I can start working on a project. Here, of course, I'm choosing Python, and I have the import Google generative AI as GenAI, for example, and I can start creating all these other parameters. And of course, what would be my input to have the same prompts from the client, from my user, where I actually I need my where I actually can have this template to display some other information related. So I super recommend that you can start actually using this Google AI. It kind of goes beyond the chatbot where you are just asking and having the replies, but also it's really cool that you can have the code. You can create your API key from the same Google where you have Gemini and start building your own projects. And if you're kind of new to coding, for example, start using this platform, start testing questions, emojis, images, ask what caption should I add to this image for social media post, for example, and try to explore as much as you can for this information. But also, you can kind of draft what you have here on the chatbots, and you can start testing your different what's it related, like conversations, what kind of questions you are expecting, what kind of answers you want to have, and of course the applications are endless. And we need to think also about innovative solutions, and it's super cool that today we can have libraries, plugins, fine tuning, and so many things going on from this side. Sorry again, I'm going a bit fast on this, but it's really cool that we are having this kind of opportunity to create all this other stuff in this tech ecosystem. So just not stay there with the chatbot and prompting, but also you can go faster. And of course, you can go even to these other kind of solutions with LLM. I'm here just mentioning a few. One of my favorites is Mixo.io, because you kind of write a pitch for an idea or business, and it's developing your very own landing page. So it's really cool that you can have this prototype very fast using your abilities with prompting, and then moving for the business, right? So it's so many applications on this. But of course, there are also warnings. We need to be aware that these models, that these kind of chatbots, they can have these actually hallucinations, which is another topic, but you have the link here to learn a little bit more about this. But it's nice that you can know that this exists, and at the same time you can compare on different models to understand or to decide which one you actually want to use. And as last resources, I want to share how to get started. This is one of my favorite paths. We have this generative AI learning path on the Google Cloud Skills Boost. It's for free. You get budget when you finish the small courses. And also, I want to share about deep learning AI. In our platform, we have different generative AI programs. I've been actually very inspired by this programming, paid programming with LLM, where it's using Palm. This was September or last year. But also, we just released this short course related to Hugging Face. So if you're really new in machine learning, you're really new in this kind of Gen AI technologies, I really encourage you to check this, because you don't need much knowledge on coding or in models, but you can start actually testing how easy to recognize images, to go to text to speech, speech to text, and all the power we have behind these technologies. And so I try to rush a little bit, but thank you so much for your attention. You can follow me on my social media. I'm Leslie Sandra, mostly active on Twitter. And it's been a pleasure to get to be part of this celebration. And I hope we can have another opportunity where I can contribute and get to meet what you are working on as well. Thank you so much to the organization.
Thank you so much, Leslie. It was a wonderful talk. And thank you so much for sharing all the resources and learning path for all our audience. It was a pleasure knowing more about it. And if you want to connect Leslie, you can connect with her over Twitter or LinkedIn. So, yeah. Thank you so much once again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye. So, yeah, next we have the last talk of the day. Super excited for inviting the next speaker. So, now we have Margaret with us. Hi, Margaret.
Hello,
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Awesome. Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
So, a bit about Margaret. She's from United States and a ML engineer experienced in applying ML to real-world problems. And the use cases are really interesting. These are art and design, which I found it very innovative and recognized as a Google developer expert in AI and machine learning. She has also been a contributor to open source projects in TensorFlow and Keras. So I welcome you on the stage.
Great. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Seattle. I'm very excited to celebrate the International Women's Day here with you and sharing with you my career journey today. And as mentioned earlier, I'm a GDE for AI and ML, also a 3D artist and fashion designer, and studying at Parsons School of Design. I have taught Android at the University of Washington and will be teaching an AI class at UW this spring quarter in a few weeks. I love drawing, painting, making 3D art, and fashion design. And you can check out my website for my artwork and design with traditional method and also digital and also artwork and design using generative AI. In my early career, I have always been looking for that perfect job and can't seem to find it. Then I realized that there's so many things, there's no such a thing as a perfect job because I just love so many different things, as you will see in my talk. I um, started my career at P&G in 1999, managing tech projects. And after getting my MBA from College School of Business, I thought I'd moving up in my career. Turns out I moved across quite a different fields in my over 2 decades of career in tech. I joined Microsoft, where I switched my career quite a few times. Um, switched the teams quite a few times. And in 2010, I was a release manager helping to launch Bing.com. Then I shifted from being a PM to engineer. Worked as an Android engineer, and I taught Android at University of Washington, as I mentioned earlier. And from the community side, I started to manage running events at GDG Seattle and got into AM machine learning in 2016 and have been an ML engineer since then. And then in 2018, I became a ML GDE. As I listened to the previous speakers' talks, you heard quite a few speakers are from the ML GDE community. In 2022, I got into 3D fashion design. And as I mentioned earlier, that I will be teaching an AI class at UW in a few weeks, which I'm very excited about. So today, I want to share with you, I mentioned all these transition, right? Career transitions. I'll talk quite a bit about career transition, right? Moving from a program manager role to be an engineer was not a very easy transition because typically, people will study computer science, they become a software engineer. As they move on in their career, maybe they become a lead, or maybe they will get an MBA. But I did the reverse. My education background is actually more in business. I started as a PM and then moving into a engineer career, right? I need to learn coding, and there's a lot of learning for me, right, in that switch. And also, when I did that career switch from a PM to an engineer, I was actually quite senior as a program manager, you know, decade of experience and senior as a PM. But as I started become an Android engineer, I had to work on entry level jobs that
either with no pay or very low pay, right? Startups. But that was something that I had to work on because I was transitioning my career from PM to be an engineer. And for quite a few years, it was all about Android. I wrote a lot of Android blog posts, and I worked on many different apps. I worked on geocaching, ParkNav, and many Android apps. As I mentioned earlier, I also taught Android at University of Washington, and I started as a student learning Android there, and moved into TA, teaching assistant, and then became an instructor actually teaching it. So you can kind of see, how I moved from a beginner into more of an expert, right? And join meetups to learn more about the subject and give talks, etc. So um, because of my involvement in Android and success becoming more of an Android expert, I was very fortunate to join the computer vision team at Microsoft AI Research in 2016, working with a team on a team with ML researchers, engineers, PMs, and UX designers. Worked on smart camera apps, shared my Android expertise, and worked on the Microsoft Azure Cognitive Services SDKs, etc. It was a really fun team and very fun projects. Um, and that's actually, how I got into AI and machine learning, right? Working as a Android engineer and, make these REST API calls. Back then, it was no on-device machine learning. It's just REST API call to get these ML and endpoints, and then get some result, come back to the Android app, and you parse the data. I got really curious how AI and machine learning works under the hood and decided to study it. And I still remember my first talk making Android apps was intelligence. And that's how I kind of, transitioning from Android to AI and the machine learning. That's started my transition. So how I did the transition, my day job, right, already working with AI and machine learning. Granted, it was more focusing on Android, but I did a lot of studying online classes, from Fast.ai, Udacity, Coursera, MIT, Stanford, and read a lot of books, and also read papers. Just did a lot of studying. And later on, 2018, I became a MLGD, and it has been an incredible journey being in the MLGD program. It gave me an opportunity to work on a lot of cool open source projects, learning from all these ML experts from worldwide, and and then I get an opportunity to preview the Google products and provide feedback, and go to these events, Google I/O, Cloud Next, and also go to the MLGDE and or ML Community Summit along with MLGDEs and the ML experts from the community. And, as I said earlier, I did a lot of studying online, self study, but study itself is not enough, right? So, being able to work on a lot of these open source projects along with day job really helped me with that transition from Android to AI and machine learning. I've done a lot of TensorFlow project, TensorFlow Lite. um, I think in 2021, I got a very honored to receive the TensorFlow Contributor Award representing North America region, along with all these other amazing ML GDEs and experts from the ML community. By the way, you might have noticed that now, or seen my post on social media, that I really love to create sketch notes. And so here, if you look up on Medium, this blog post that I wrote called "The Art of Sketchnoting," it will help you if you're interested in learning sketch notes and how to share your knowledge in a visual way. I love to draw and I love to learn these technical topics, right? Learning. But at the same time, I also love sharing my knowledge with the community. So the sketchnoting is a great way for me to share my knowledge in a visual way, in a visual and a very concise way, uh, and help sometimes some of the knowledge, the topic, for example, like a paper, like a machine learning paper, could be really complicated, right? By using sketchnoting, I could convey that message and try to explain a complicated topic and to help people to understand easily. In recent years, I got very interested in 3D deep learning. And here's a blog post I co-authored with my previous mentee, Nivid, who I met from Google Summer of Code on TensorFlow projects. You know, by the way, that's also another thing that I've done as a MLGD is to mentor in these projects. And we wrote a blog post called Intro to 3D Deep Learning, and it has been quite popular where in we discuss like in just the intro to 3D deep learning, talk about the 3D data representation, some of the computer vision tasks, and then some of the learning resources if people want to get into 3D deep learning. So this is an area where really interests me, where I will continue with my research and also sharing my knowledge with the community. So you might be wondering, I mentioned about 3D fashion design. How did I get into 3D fashion design? Uh, when I got into 3D deep learning, got interested, I wanted to learn more of the 3D modeling, right? How to create 3D models. And some of you probably heard you can use Blender to create 3D model. I tried different programs, software programs, and in searching for the learning opportunity, I came across Parsons School of Design's Clo 3D virtual fashion design program, where I studied online for a year. And it was very interesting because I got into the 3D, the modeling part, right? Understand how 3D works, which is quite different from 2D. At the same time, I had to learn the basics of fashion design, like pattern making. Pattern making meaning you take the fabric, you cut it into the shape, and then you sew it together, and then that's how it becomes a garment onto an avatar or body. But I did all that virtually. Um, I have always been like when I was a teenager, I wanted to study fashion design, but it turns out my career become into the tech, right? PM, under engineer, and ML engineer, right? I always thought like I probably will never get into fashion design until one day. I don't know when. um, but with the technology, like the 3D program and AI, etc., it actually enabled me to be able to study fashion design so late in my career while still keep my other interests, right? And so I was pretty happy to get into this, and then I still continue to study in 3D and also fashion design. So some of you might have already seen. I don't know. Can everyone hear the sound at all?
Yes, it's audible.
Oh, okay, yeah, because sometimes it's not audible. So let me So this is one of the designs I've made. The design process would be come up with a mood board and the colors and the themes, and I also did a sketch of the look meaning how the avatar looks, how the garment looks, and did that design, pattern making, cut the pieces, and then sew it together, put it on the avatar, and in the end also make the animation of the avatar walking down the runway. So I today, I continue to work on using like generative AI in this process, right? So in this particular video, it was not quite generative AI, but I'm working on using generative AI in this whole design process from picking the color to the mood board to the design of the fabric and design of the look to the animation. So that's what I work on today is Gen AI and 3D and then fashion design. So now, as we wrap up my talk, I want to talk about a few tips on career transition. Um, as you transition into a new field, remember to leverage your current skills and strength. I don't know what you will be moving into, but don't move away from what you had before. You move towards something new, but remember what you already have, right? For example, when I move as a PM to an engineer, I learned coding, etc. I did not forget about my PM skills, right? I organize events at GDG and really helped me to get into the community, right? Even on as I moved into the engineering jobs, working as an engineer as the day job. Oh, I have very strong program management, project management experience, right? So sometimes people come to me help with the projects or Scrum or running the planning. I will not forget about my skills and strengths while my current day job has changed. And also as I moved from Android to AI and machine learning, I initially, right now my area of expertise in Gen AI, right? But initially I focused a lot on on-device machine learning, which used my skills in mobile app development. I worked on a lot of TensorFlow Lite projects and put together like awesome TensorFlow Lite repository, collaborated with and different people around the world. Um, and then as I started to work on art and design, and even today, I incorporate like generative AI knowledge, right? And which is perfect. Today you hear about Gen AI all the time. And well, I have been working on it for a while now. And being an artist and also a designer puts me at a huge advantage, right? Working on Gen AI because it's very interesting use case to apply generative AI to art and design. Second tip is networking. Networking is very, very important. And whether it's going to meetups, going to conferences, uh, meet people in person, or connecting with people on social media, it's networking is a great way for you to learn. You follow some experts on Twitter or X or on LinkedIn, and you get the news of all these new announcements like today, in Gen AI, every day there's new paper or new announcement, right? Following these experts on social media, being in that network really helps you to keep up with the technology and knowing the latest. And knowing people in the field will help open doors for you, for your next job, for your next that perfect job if you're searching for it. Um, so another one is whenever you transition right to a new field, the hardest part is to prove yourself, right? Because you might have X number of years in, I don't know, PM or engineering or maybe Android or iOS, but trying to break into that field, say AI and machine learning, and you go to a new job interview, the hiring manager is going to look at, oh, do you have the experience? Well, you haven't got a job yet, you don't have the experience. How do you go about getting that experience, right? Studying a subject is great. You take an online class, read a book and read a paper, but hands-on projects are even better. Working on projects really helps aside from your experience, studying or getting the experience from day job, which likely you don't have that day job in that field just yet, right? So that's how you prove yourself is really with projects. Put your work on GitHub if you want to showcase your code or your project, and share your art and design in social media or online platform, like I do when I got into art and design, right? I showed you my website, margaretmz.art, right? That's where I go, just put all my art and design together and people can see my portfolio. By the way, I use Adobe Portfolio for my webpage. And finally, keep learning. Just keep learning. Never be afraid of being a beginner, no matter how many years of experience that you already have. You have 5 years of experience, 10 years of experience, 2 decades of experience. Never be afraid of being a beginner. When I picked up um, fashion design, study fashion design at Parsons School of Design, which is like the top design school in the world, right? One of the top design schools. I studied fashion design along with my classmates who already have decades of experience in fashion design, and me, here's the newbie, coming, barely even know about pattern making or sewing. But I'm not afraid. I study hard and really getting into it. Every time I do the homework, my homework, submission is always like one of the best. So don't be afraid being a beginner. This is how you become an expert, right? You learn how to walk and then you learn how to run. And one day you'll be running in a competition, right? You go from a beginner to an expert. So thank you so much for listening to my sharing my career uh, journey today. Follow me on Twitter, Medium, and GitHub, and also LinkedIn if you want to learn more about generative AI, art and design, on-device machine learning, or just follow me with my career journey. Um, Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Margaret. It was a wonderful talk. Thank you for sharing all your life learnings and how you overcame the convention. Like, typically, people go from either engineering jobs to management, and you did completely opposite, which was
Hmm.
really phenomenal and brave. So, kudos to your whole inspiring journey. And we also have one amazing comment from Vijaya. Listening to fellow art enthusiasts like you is truly delightful. Whether it's a casual hobby or a devoted pursuit, the shared love for creativity is what makes our passion for art so special. So, yeah, thank you so much. And I've seen a lot of folks, some people in the art and some people in tech, they're not able to pursue their hobbies, but you have carved out a path from art and tech. So, it's completely phenomenal. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your phenomenal journey.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been great. Yeah, I'm very excited to have today's opportunity to celebrate International Women's Day by sharing my journey.
Yeah, pleasure is all ours. And you can connect with Margaret on our socials. So, yeah, thank you. So, as we conclude the session, thank you everyone for being a part of this incredible celebration at International Women's Day hosted by TensorFlow User Group Kolkata. Today has been a phenomenal day filled with brilliance of women in technology and is also a testament to the power and resilience that we should all have in our lives as well. So, try implementing all the learnings you have gained today from all the speakers in your lives, and as we conclude this inspiring event, let's carry forward their stories, the insights that they have shared, both professional and personal, and even the connections that you have gained. Feel free to connect with the speakers and do tag us on the socials and share your learnings as well. And remember, each one of you plays a vital role in shaping the future of technology, and fostering an inclusive and supporting community is everyone's job. So, and last but not the least, a heartful thanks to Rishi Raj and the whole TensorFlow user group Kolkata team and our phenomenal speakers, Iman, Sanya, Jyoti, Sara, Leslie, and Margaret for sharing their experiences and wisdom. Your contribution have truly ignited the whole journey and have also paved a way for the next generation for women in tech. So let's continue to celebrate, support, and uplift each other, and not just today, but every day. So keep dreaming big, be bold, and let's collectively impact the future. That's our motto for IWD. So until next time, stay empowered and keep shining. Thank you so much. It's me signing off.